Hey, let's talk about IRAs. Yeah, individual retirement accounts. Let's talk about some of the specifics. What one is best for you? Well, that's a pretty darn good question because there's lots of them. There's traditional, there's Roth, there's simples, there's SEPs, there's all sorts of IRAs, and you can self-direct all of them. Do you know what that means? Well, you will after this video, so let's dive in. All right, so let's begin with traditional IRAs. A lot of you have heard of a traditional IRA or traditional individual retirement account, but do you know all the specifics and do you know which one's right for you? Well, a traditional IRA, the biggest advantage here is the money that goes in pre-tax, meaning you get a tax deduction for any dollars you put into that. And as of right now, you could put $7,500 per year as of 2026 into your traditional IRA. If you're over 50, you get a little bit of a bump up to $8,600. Now these numbers and these contribution limits change every year, but the traditional IRA, the main reason you're gonna do it is tax reasons, tax deductibility. Because if you weren't so concerned about taxes, if your CPA didn't come in and tell you, hey, we need more tax deductions, then I would definitely think you're gonna be talking about a Roth IRA. Now, Roth IRA, unlike a traditional, the money that goes in is post-tax, meaning you're gonna put the money in after you paid taxes on it. Now, I know some of you are like, why would I do that? Here's the reason why. The Roth, when you take the money out, including all the gains, so let's just say you put 10 grand over a couple of years into the Roth, because the limits are the same right now for traditionals and Roths. If you put that money in, and let's just say it doubled, so your 10 grand went to 20 grand, and then you're 59 and a half, you're able to start taking distributions from your Roth IRA, all of that money, all 20,000 is tax free. So let's just talk about that. If we were to put that same 10,000 over a couple of years into a traditional IRA and that money doubled to 20,000 and now you're 59 and a half and you can take distributions, you pay tax on all of it at probably a higher tax rate than you got a deduction for, because today your tax rate is what it is. Over time, chances are you're gonna make more money, or at least I hope you think you're gonna make more money, because we all should be thinking that way. As you make more money, tax rates more than likely are gonna go up, because the more you make, the more you pay in taxes. Unless you think the government's gonna reduce taxes, but I don't think any of you really believe that, not with our deficits. So you're putting money in to get a tax deduction today, to take the money out in the future and pay tax on all of it at arguably a higher tax rate. Make sure you consult with your CPA on any of this stuff, because I can't give you tax advice. I'm just showing you how it works. So the Roth IRA makes a pretty compelling argument, right? You can put money into the Roth IRA. Yes, it's after tax dollars, but then in the future, when you take the money out, all of it, including the gains, the interest, the yield, all the money you made on it, tax free. So if you think you're gonna be in a higher tax rate, that makes a ton of sense. But let's talk a little bit about who is eligible to put money into a Roth. You see, they don't just let anyone put money into a Roth IRA. There are phase-out limits. That kind of makes sense, right? Why would we let the wealthy or people that make a good amount of money put money into a Roth IRA? Yeah, that would make no sense at all. So a lot of the people that want to put money into a Roth IRA, they just can't. Their income phased out. Now, if you just look right here on the screen, so this is if you're single and head of household, if you make between $153,000 or $168,000 modified adjusted gross income, guess what? No contributions. That's right. You are phased out of Roth IRAs. Oh, but wait, if you're married filing jointly, your phase out range is $242,000 to $252,000 modified adjusted gross income. So that means if you make $252,000 between you and your spouse or significant other, you're not putting money into a Roth. Now there's backdoor Roth IRAs, so let me just take 1 second and explain that, because you've probably heard, oh, well, we do a backdoor Roth IRA. That actually sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it? But all it is they put money into a traditional IRA. And then what they do is they convert the traditional IRA into a Roth, and they pay taxes on that money in that year. Now, this is a pretty common practice. There's all sorts of ways you can do this. I'm not gonna get into it, but consult with your CPA or your financial advisor to talk about how you can do a backdoor Roth. But let's keep going. Because when we're talking about IRAs, we're not done here. You got simple IRAs. So if you're a business owner and you want to set up a simple retirement plan for you and your employees, well, you can do a simple IRA. Gives you a little bit more ability to put money in. You can go up to $17,000 in 2026. And if you're over 50 years old, you can put $21,000. So you can put $17,000 to $21,000 into a simple IRA. And that's a catch-up limit, right? So the 21,000 is just because you're getting older. You got to catch up. So they give you the ability to put a little bit more. These are 2026 limits. They will change in 2027. They change every single year. But now, up to the traditional and the Roth, you are only able to put $7,500 in. Or if you're over 50, you could put $8,600 in. Again, prefacing just for compliance reasons, this is 2026 limits. But now, we're not done with IRAs. You've got SEP IRAs. This is a simplified employee pension plan. Now you can put $72,000 in, but there's a lot of rules. Hold on. That is up to 25% of your comp, or if you're self-employed, it is 20% of your net earnings. Okay, so this stuff gets pretty complicated, but you see, the reason people would do a SEP, and there are a whole bunch of things to know about a SEP IRA, especially if you have employees. If you have employees, make sure you get with your financial advisor, contact PMC Wealth. They can help you with all this stuff, but be careful that you don't go setting up a SEP IRA because you want to put $72,000 away. Know the rules and know what you're getting yourself into, because this P stands for pension, and you better understand that. But there's one other thing that a lot of people don't know about, because your financial advisors, this is all over the place. Like, you could go to your bank and they'll set you up with an IRA. I mean, PMC Wealth could do it as well, but this is not the fun stuff. This, in traditional sense, allows you to invest your retirement dollars any way you see fit, as long as the investments are part of your custodian's offering. So if you're with the big ones like Schwab or maybe Fidelity or Vanguard, like, you just got to check. They only let you invest in the funds, ETFs, stocks, and bonds that are available. But what if you wanted to invest in real estate? What if you wanted to invest in private placements? What if you wanted to invest in your buddy's company? There is no way, if you are with one of the traditional sources, they're going to let you do that. But there is a way. You see, if you were to set up a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, a simple, or a SEP over here in the self-directed IRA world, the custodians in this world basically will allow you to invest your money in just about anything you want. In a self-directed IRA, there are some rules of things you can't, excluded transactions, but in the self-directed custodian IRA world, it's exactly the same. The limits are the same, the rules are the same, nothing's different, except the custodian allows for a wider range of investments. So if you're a real estate investor and you wanted to invest in someone else's real estate, now let me be very clear about that. Self-dealing is definitely a no-no. So if you've got money in your IRA, your self-directed IRA, and you want to invest in your own properties, please consult with the custodian, consult with your advisor, because there are too many rules that I'm not going to get into today, and you could get yourself in big trouble. But let's just say you wanted to invest in Jordan's real estate deal here. Jordan's our videographer. Say hi. If you want to invest in his real estate deal, you could do that because it's not benefiting you. So whatever he makes on that, you could share in those profits in a self-directed. You could lend money to Jordan and his real estate deals, and you could basically get an interest rate on that. You could buy gold, silver, you could do commodities, you could do anything as long as it's not an excluded transaction or self-dealing over here in the self-directed IRA world. But here's the unique thing. When we think about traditional investing, a lot of people kind of think that this is what it looks like, up, down, up, down. When people invest in self-directed IRAs, they sort of just think of growth looking like that. Now, it's not always going to look like that. I'm not painting, just a pretty picture for self-directed IRAs, but let's just kind of assume you had $10,000 in your self-directed Roth IRA, and you wanted to invest that into a real estate deal. And let's say that real estate deal made $20,000 in gain, okay? So now you had 10K in here, you made 20,000, so now you got $30,000 in your Roth, and then let's say you take the 30 and you lend it out at 12% interest. That 12% interest is just going to be a steady curve. You're not dealing with the markets. It's outside of the normal investments. So a lot of people are really interested in self-directed IRA custodians. And if you are, you could do a Roth, a simple, a SEP, heck, you could even do a self-directed solo K or 401k. But let me just show you something. And I got a really unique way of showing you how a self-directed IRA has helped one of our clients grow their portfolio, but not just grow their portfolio, how it helped them retire with confidence. Check this out. So I'd like to introduce you to Chuck and Mary Jones. These are actual clients of ours. And you know what? The best thing about these clients, they didn't want anything to do with the markets. But what they wanted is they wanted to retire. So let me tell you a little bit about them. So when we met them, they were 55 years old and 53 years old, and they were planning to retire in 10 years. They wanted to be done working in 10 years. Now that's like a lot of people, right? They want to be done at a certain point in time. You work your whole life, you want to enjoy it. They wanted to spend time with their horses and doing all the things they loved. Now, at that time, they had $350,000 in their retirement accounts. And I can tell you, that wouldn't last very long in retirement. So just, if any of you are trying to figure it out, there are all sorts of calculators you can use to figure out how long your money will last into retirement. But $350,000, they knew they weren't gonna have enough money. So they had to do some serious planning. So they wanted to get involved in real estate. They'd always heard that real estate was a great way to invest money, and they didn't want to deal with toilets, they didn't want to deal with termites, and they didn't want to deal with tenants. That wasn't their strong suit, nor was investing. They didn't want anything to do with the stock market. So the problem they had was just what I said. $350,000. That's how much money they had, and it wasn't going to last very long. So first thing they did is they started maxing out the amount of money they were going to put into their IRAs. They had money in self-directed IRA accounts. They had gotten out of the rat race, moved the money over to a different custodian that allowed them to invest in real estate. So the year we did this for them, the two of them could put in $13,000 into their IRAs. Okay? That over 10 years would grow, and every year they would max it out. So we didn't know what the increases were going to be, so we just pegged it at $13,000 each year for a period of 10 years. Now, they invested that money into real estate deals as private lenders in first lien position deals. Again, consult with your advisor to make sure that this risk and this type of use is appropriate for your particular risk reward profile. But they made 9%. Now, this is going back many years ago where 9% was a good return in private lending. Today, that number would probably be closer to 12%. After the 10 years of them putting $13,000 in every single year, them earning 9% each year on their money in these deals, their portfolio, their retirement accounts, grew to $1,026,085. Now, is that enough money to retire on? And my answer is, that depends. It depends on what you do next. So what they did, what Chuck and Mary did here, is they had $1,026,085. They continued doing what they got comfortable doing, and that was private lending. In first lien positions, they always had personal guarantees, they had good attorneys and good people structuring their deals, and they knew how to underwrite the deals, and they had help in underwriting those deals. So they made good choices, okay? So they continued to earn 9% into the retirement. This is the really fun part about this. Their annual income, I mean, you can do the math, $1,026,085, earning 9% is $92,347. Now that's not bad. That's $7,695 every single month in retirement. And hold on, that's before any other income. That's before any side jobs that they do. That's before Social Security income. So with Social Security income, they were well into the $10,000 per month range, which was more than sufficient to cover their retirement, more than sufficient to allow them to live the life they want. Listen, this is the best part. They did not touch principal. That number I just gave you, the $92,347, that's just the interest at 9% on $1,026,085. Now, remember back earlier where I showed you that line going straight up? That's because if you can get a fixed interest rate on your money, you can pick good deals, manage risk well, and make sure that you don't get into any bad deals, because there is risk in this. I do want to preface that. With self-directed IRA investing, just like your traditional investing, there is always risk. So you need to make sure that the risk meets your needs. And this is something an advisor could help you do. You can always get a hold of PMC Wealth and the advisors over there. They certainly can help you do that. But the thing I really wanted to point out here is you can do the same thing. You can have a retirement just like Chuck and Mary Jones, but you got to start learning how to do this. You got to learn real estate a little bit, or find somebody that knows how to do this. You got to understand what self-directed IRAs are, like we talked earlier, but all of that is in your capacity. You certainly could do the exact same thing. The question is it something you want to do? And then the other question, come back to the board, is do you want to do that from your traditional IRA, your Roth IRA, your simple IRA, your SEP IRA? Because all of them can be self-directed. And that is a very powerful thing when you take back control of the money in your retirement accounts and you can invest that money in a proper manner. So another thing you'd have to figure out is, do you want to do this from your traditional IRA, your Roth, your simple, your SEP, your 401k? Just remember, all you need to do is find the custodian that will allow you to do self-directing. And then you can do it from your Roth, simple, SEP, or 401k. These are all really fun things. Hey, you know what else is also fun? Clicking that button that says subscribe right there. I'm trying to grow this channel. We're trying to get to 200,000 and I need your help. And also, I've got somebody who was my mentor back in the day. Not really, but Bruce Lee has been teaching me some things. And this is called, I don't know, the wagging dragon or something like that. There's a little bell. What you got to do, smash that bell, and you'll be notified every time I put out new content. Let's get back into IRAs. Hey, I hope that helped you out a little bit, get you a little more in-depth, behind the scenes information about retirement accounts and which one might be right for you. But you know what? What's right for you is not what's right for somebody else. So make sure you get with a financial advisor that understands this, and definitely if it's real estate you want to do, that understands real estate. I'm going to say PMC Wealth and the advisors over there would be a really good choice if you're looking for an advisor. But you know what? There's a lot more to learn. And the other thing I'd love to do is show you this video right here, how to maximize your retirement and build a bulletproof retirement system using IRAs and the infinite banking concept. We'll see you next time.